I'm back again.
How about we just try, a little bit, see what happens.
Okay.
Count you down, like we'll go three, two, one, and I'll say go, and then you just go ahead and do your spiel.
Okay.
All right. Three, two, one, go.
Hello, Night fans. Welcome to season 3, episode 1 of Knightspeed. I am your host, Matt Johnson, with his brother, Mark Johnson.
Hey, everybody.
And welcome to a brand new season of Knightspeed.
That's
Tonight, we're
right.
going to talk about how UCF is going to make their way in their second season of the Big 12 Conference, how we think they're going to do in the second year, if we're going to improve, maybe take a step back. And we're just going to talk about that for the next hour.
Right. Hour, we got a little, I think we're not kind of
We're not
showcasing
hamstrung
that
by an hour anymore, right?
we've gone video, you know.
Yeah,
So we're now big time.
big time now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
video.
really
Yeah.
deserve big time yet, but we are
Right.
big time.
But, doing this 2 seasons that we figured the third season we start trying to do video. We're going to try to upload to YouTube, maybe get on
Hmm.
Apple. Obviously, we're on Spotify, but we're going to
Yeah.
try to uh, you know widen our audience, I guess. And so, what do you want to start with? Schedule?
Well,
Or would you rather start with kind of news and notes around the Big 12? We had a Big 12 media days. And it was interesting. Some of the things that went on with Big 12 expansion still seems to be
yeah,
on the horizon. Or also I guess we can do that. Let's go ahead. We'll go into the schedule first, then we'll circle back, do the Big 12 expansion stuff. We'll finish with a nice little kind of thing that I think I read in either online or in the paper about
hmm,
a little kind of player poll that everybody went through. And it was regarding what coach would they coach for, or would they play
play
for
for.
if it wasn't for the coach. We'll circle back on that.
Okay,
First game, New Hampshire, right?
it is a small. Heck, are they even a G5 team? Or are they even below that?
I think I think they're subdivision. I believe they may be G5. I don't know, but I think they're subdivision.
Okay, so they're what we used to call back in the Division Two,
Yes, or one double A.
one double A.
Yeah,
Okay, one double A. So they're not. Yeah, they're not down to Division Two.
yeah, they're one double A. I don't think you're allowed to play Division two type like teams.
No, that wouldn't be right.
You can play them, but it wouldn't even count as
Yeah,
a game.
that'd be rough.
Right. But
So,
first game on the 29th, so it's about a month away.
yeah.
August 29th, which will be a Thursday. UCF
Hmm.
likes to play their games on Thursday, their first games on Thursday, just because of that hurricane window that's so active at that time. What
Yeah.
they do is they end up going, okay, if there's a hurricane coming through the weekend, we can play on Thursday, get everybody out or get the game through, and then everybody kind of batten down the hatches after that. If it comes
Yeah.
on Thursday, you might be able to still get the game in on Monday or Tuesday of the following week.
We've had quite a few seasons though. We've had a first game on a Thursday night though, right?
Right. I think that's they
All
they,
the
they
way back to like
have it on
2020,
Thursday
right?
night. Yeah, I think that they draw better on Thursday night as well.
Yeah.
Crazy as it sounds, that you have a lot of people, young fan base, and I think with our young fan base, people do things on that 3-day weekend. So that's what you kind of end up with
Yeah.
if the people are going, going out of town on that weekend, so you can get
Hmm.
the game on Thursday, you know. But yeah,
So
New
yeah, another
Hampshire,
Thursday night game.
I think we are favored New Hampshire. Can't seem to see where I put it down, but I think we're at least over 40 points against New Hampshire.
Yeah, we're going to beat them 55-7.
You think they'll get 7 on us, huh?
Well, I think because we'll be inviting kids in from the stands to play,
By fourth
and
quarter comes around.
yeah, that's where they'll get a late one because you don't want to make them feel bad that we beat you 55-0, so they have a some of a less wounded ride home all the way back to New Hampshire.
Right,
They can say, "Hey, we got a touchdown." Kind of. You don't want to end their season before it really even starts.
right. Oh,
And if you beat them that bad, you're ending it before it even starts.
okay. So you're thinking we're gonna beat them 51-7, you said?
Yeah, 55-7.
55-7. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, this is to me always the game you get your yayas out. I think we got guys that it should determine what kind of team we're gonna have. I think if we do
Yeah.
score 55-7 game, we got a lot of veterans on this team. If you look at it, we got a lot of kids like our quarterback, KJ Jefferson, things like that, to where if he can kind of really bring this team together, especially on offense, and get 55 points, because that's not as easy as it may sound, against the 1AA team, especially when you're really kind of getting under the lights for the first time. I mean, he was here for spring, but this is the first time where it counts.
Well, if you look at this, where do we need to improve this year, right?
Right.
And where's our biggest question marks? I think we really need to prove in the linebacker division, because that part of our defense has really been kind of the weakness the last at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully they've amended that. You know what? I'd be happy with just like a Pat Jasinski again. Give me a Savage Pat again. I'll take that. Even though he's a true G5 linebacker, but at least I know he'd stop somebody.
True. I'm trying to find out who that kid is that came over from Vanderbilt, defensive back, or he's the
Linebacker.
linebacker,
Yeah.
and he's a senior, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I guess
Only
we
1 year
should find
eligibility.
out, right?
Yeah. And with that, but I mean, you think about it, the last 2 years, we have recruited linebackers. Have we not developed anybody yet? That's what I'm just,
Well, we brought in, what I'm reading here is a Xavier Carter, who was at
yeah,
UNLV last year. Before that he was at LSU. We got Ethan Barr.
yeah.
He's Ethan Barr is the kid we're talking about from Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can those guys can really kind of make an impact, I think we have enough guys who are finally starting to get it together. You know, like
But if you look like Qual Birdsong, yeah, I know he's in the 2024 class, but is he more of an outside linebacker?
I think so. And well,
Who's
like
one little guy we got from Seminole? Showed a lot of promise 2 years against. I mean, how has he developed?
I think he's ready to go. I'm trying to remember his name as well.
What's his name? Cam something? Cam
Yeah,
Moore?
Cam Moore. He's got to be ready
And
to go by now, doesn't he?
I would hope.
I mean, he's a junior.
He's a junior. Yeah,
At this point. So it's either it happens or it doesn't at this point.
Did they redshirt him 2 years ago?
No, he's always started. He's been playing since freshman. So he's a junior. He played
Yeah,
last year. He played, the year before. So unless he only played 4 games, I don't really have the stats on him.
I think he did. I think he really didn't waste a year of eligibility.
Okay, so then he's a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, and again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Well, with the two guys I just read out, the one guy from UNLV that has some LSU lineage, as well as the kid from Vanderbilt, we'll see what happens. They did address it. Did it work? We'll find out.
Well, Xavier Carter, we got in the portal.
Yeah, that's the kid from UNLV.
Yeah, he came in at 6'4", 210, which again, still a little small, especially if you're going to be Power 5. Well, Power 4 now.
Right. Well, maybe
also Zyree Alexander from Idaho, 6'2", 215, which again, a little bigger.
Well, we got a big defensive line. When you look,
Josiah Pierre. Now again, he's 6'2", 240. Boom, Texas Tech. Now, did he not play for us last? Did he? Do we have any tape?
He's from like northern Florida, and he just came home for his last season. Just like that. I don't remember the guy from Georgia, but he was a player from around here, and
Yeah.
He contributed. We'll say that.
All right.
Okay. Let's move on. Game 2, Sam Houston.
Yeah.
They're a better
Those
team than
games are total tune-ups.
but they're a better team than what New Hampshire will give us. So if we have any kind of mistakes against New Hampshire, we're gonna have to get it straightened out against the Sam Houston, or they're gonna really show the glaring, problems we have.
Well, Sam Houston's a very good
1-8, G5 team.
G5, yeah, G5 team.
The G5.
Yeah. So they could somehow, I don't know if they'd beat us, but if you give them a chance.
They could really kind of exploit to some of the other teams that we have, the tougher teams of like they still can't do this or they can't do that. They're gonna know against the Sam Houston.
Exactly. And I don't know if that worries me,
So what's your prediction on that one then?
Oh, I still think we're going to beat them. I'm going to say 38-14.
Okay. 38-14. So you're thinking 38 points at least?
Yeah, we're going
to. Okay.
Remember, I don't think they've got the ability to stop our transfer quarterback.
Right. And, we got an explosive offense. We've got several players that supposed to have a good size year. Harvey is one of them. RJ Harvey.
Yeah. Well, RJ Harvey was just shy of 1,500 yards like yesterday.
Last year.
I think of the exploits of KJ Jefferson. If you can actually do some veer type stuff, we can move KJ this way and Harvey that way. That get a lot of people guessing. And on defense, that's what you don't want to do. Is you don't want to guess.
You got a younger guy behind him. That's a pretty big guy himself. That says a really back. I'm sure people forget about Bowser. Remember when Bowser came back his senior year? He did not play nearly as much as you thought he was going to play. He played, but he was more or less played almost like when he wanted to. Like he was fresh. The year before his senior year, man, he was just, you could have called him, drill bit Bowser. I mean, they just buried him. The guy was a workhorse, and he did play a lot. He was in a lot of big plays, his senior year, but he was used a little bit more sparingly than I thought. I thought he was going to be the true workhorse, and he was in I guess he was in big moments of big games, like the Tulane game, if you remember that year.
Yeah. Well, you've got Miles Montgomery also, who's a capable runner.
What's that?
Miles Montgomery's a very capable runner.
Right. You got him. You got Johnny still, to where we've got 4 really capable running backs.
Exactly.
And
now, do you think they're going to use Johnny a little more this year, or do you think he's
I do. I think Johnny's one of those guys who can kind of get lost up in the line. He's very quick. He doesn't need room, So it's interesting, because we did, RJ Harvey's not a real big guy, but he's powerful. I mean, powerful guy, to where, and if you saw him he's been working out, he looks great, so he's going to be able to shed some tackles, it looks like.
Well, who do you think takes our number 1 receiver spot?
That's Kobe now. Kobe moves over to that.
Step in, you don't think we'll have a dark horse somewhere?
No, I think Kobe's number 1. Xavier's going to be number 2. And then you're going to probably have Magwood or someone else take that spot.
So nobody out of this year or last year's
no
recruit class?
We'll see. It'd be nice.
Also got the Jacoby Jones, out of Ohio, Mark. I mean, that guy, 6'3", 228. That's bigger than some of the guys we've had.
How comfortable is he in the in the playbook?
Yeah.
Is he doing the right things? I think with Gus, he's not going to throw you out there if you're not familiar with what's going on. He'll maybe throw you on a special teams area here or there, but you're not going to get on that field on offense or defense unless
We've got a receiver that came in from Auburn, Javarius Johnson. He's also
he could play too, because he probably knows the plays already.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Now he's not big. He's only 5'7", 5'8", 167. So he's probably like more he's a Johnny type receiver, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to miss Javon Baker.
No, I agree.
That guy was a player, and we're going to miss him. But let's get back to the schedule here. Week 3, September 14th, we go to TCU.
We got a lot of people say we can beat them.
Yeah, and Sonny Dykes during the Big 12 was just praising his players. Now, that is sometimes just coach speak. But
Yeah.
like we're as deep as we were 2 years ago this year, which they got into the championship game, if you remember, like a Big 12 championship game. They also got to the national championship game. But Sonny Dykes beat us a couple years when he was at SMU, if you remember.
Oh yeah, without doubt, yeah. Now, was
And
that the year back in was 2021 when he embarrassed us?
that's what, yeah, that year. And that was the year before he went to TCU. But Gus is going to have to get him figured out, because it's at TCU, and if they've got a decent team, that's going to be a real kind of schedule setter, because let's face it, if you go there and lose badly, that's going to set up the following week, with Colorado, and then going to Florida. So the TCU game is a real hinge pin right at the beginning.
Well, I have to look at, and be honest with you, I really didn't watch much of Colorado last year. I watched the first one against TCU, and other than what luck, I mean, I saw it really as a luck win. They won.
Yeah.
They won by. I don't really think they beat. And again, TCU, going by the record, especially, really didn't have a good season last year.
Right. No, they didn't. They didn't make a playoff, or didn't make the bowl game, or
And they didn't really have anything a lot to really talk about last year. Going from a national championship game the year before, I mean, it doesn't matter how bad they got beat, because they got beat pretty soundly. But last year's was really a huge step back. So I guess to me, there's still a mystery.
Yeah, TCU only won 5 games last year, 5 and 7.
Yeah.
So you got JP Richardson. I guess he's on TCU there.
Yeah.
As a wide receiver. Ken Seals, we'll see, right? I mean,
we will see.
I don't know if we're going to win this one. You think yay or nay on the win?
No, I think we can. I think we can beat them.
Okay, give me a score.
No, I do. Now, I'm about 80% sure on that we'll beat them.
Okay, think low.
But again,
that's one thing.
I'm more optimistic than you are.
Okay, low scoring.
No, I still think we get 27, 28 points.
I meant close score, not low score.
We'll be close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be within 7.
Okay.
Just because we're playing there.
Okay, I think it's going to be. Unfortunately, we're gonna find out a lot of games this season, like last season, are going to be within 7 points.
Yes.
And hopefully, some of those games this year go our way, rather than last year when they always went the other way.
Yeah.
Other than the Boise State game, they all went the other way.
Yes.
And so, okay, you're thinking TCU close game, hopefully.
What a win.
Okay. Following week, Colorado.
Oh yes, I honestly think we can beat Colorado too.
That's gonna be a huge game. It's on Fox already. It's gonna be a game. It's gonna be a packed house. It's gonna be like the game day.
Coach Prime's coming.
Yeah, it's gonna be a game day game.
Oh, you think so?
I don't think game day will be there, but it's gonna be that kind of crowd.
Yeah. Now
maybe,
it could be a game day.
If we're 3-0, we might get game day.
And yeah, if both of us are 3-0, it's game day.
Right, it could be a game day game.
Yeah. So
you got that's your 3-0 team.
I don't think that we could really. I don't think Colorado's going to be 3-0, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know who they're playing, or but oh, here we go. I got their schedule. Before they come to us, they got, I think, Colorado State. At Colorado State.
Okay.
The road the next week to us.
So that'll be, you might have a letdown there, because that's a huge rivalry game.
Wow, yeah. Very true.
especially if they can win that one. But
Yeah,
you look at the Colorado State game last year, Mark. More people watched that game than USC UCLA.
the one thing I've noticed, man, we have a bye week after TCU before Colorado.
Yeah, that's also a big, huge help.
Yeah, real good. We've got kind of an early one. I think we have a second one somewhere in the. But so yeah, Colorado, we get a week off before they come. So anybody's
Yeah,
up on the road the week before, we might be able to get them back, to fully healthy. And
we also have an open week before West Virginia.
Okay, but yeah, because Colorado, I'm sorry, they got Colorado State, then they got Baylor at home, and then us.
Mm-hmm.
So they got 2 games before they come to
Yeah,
us.
that could be a double-edged sword. They could make them, that much better, a little more honed in, or they could have some injuries and be, pulling into the bounce house, with a lot of injuries to have them over,
I know Shadur will be ready, right?
Yeah.
Shadur, any of the quarterback that always wants the big game. Well, I think that'll be a big game, and I think that they may be a little surprised at how big a game that is. That they'll show up thinking it's just, it's UCF, and realize that 44,000, almost 45,000 fans get pretty loud.
Yeah, and I think if they think that UCF's fan base will not be, forever in this game, they're going to be sadly mistaken. It'll be to their peril.
Yeah, they'll find out the hard way.
Yeah.
But
Now
okay.
after we've got the Florida Gators, which
then we go to Florida, right?
Yeah, you remember this is Florida's 5th possibly game also.
That's another night game. I don't know if it'd probably be on one of the ESPN channels. If we're 4-0 and say Florida's 4-0, it'll be on ESPN.
Yeah.
But if we're 2-2, and they're say with their schedule, say they're 2-2 as well, it'll probably be on ESPN University or whatever.
Yeah. ESPN Plus.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if they might bump us back to ESPN Plus, but they might not. I think that there's a lot of intrigue in this game to where, as much as Florida doesn't want to admit it, they do want to beat us.
No, I truly do. I'm just wondering, can we beat them? Because again, I was talking to you earlier today. They have a lot of their youth, but they have a lot of experience in that youth.
Yes, they
That's
do.
1. And 2, they're in the swamp at night.
Right.
Again, we don't know anything about Graham Mertz. Again, he might be worlds better this year than he was last year.
Right.
I just think they have a better team. I feel a lot less confident about this one than I did the week previous when they're playing Colorado. I think they can beat Colorado. This one, I'm not so sure. I know a lot of people who think they can beat Florida. So,
well, we have some of our younger fans that that have podcasts like we do that I can listen to, and they're all kind of like, "Oh, that's going to be one of those kind of we have to beat them." Thinking it's going to be a lot tougher than you guys think it's going to be. I mean, going in to Gainesville at noon is a lot easier than going in there at 7:30 at night.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot different too.
Yeah, that's first weekend of October.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, that to me is a true toss-up game. Depends on how we're playing at that point, and depends on how Florida's playing at that point.
No, I agree.
Because that could very easily mean that we're playing well and still lose.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll find out, right?
Well, they're not going to give us a win in Gainesville.
No.
Not going to happen. We're going to have to win that game to win. We're going to have to win that game to get the W.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Make more plays than they do.
Yeah.
And unlike some of these officials that we played, some of these teams to where, Louisville, where you got 2 bad calls against us on 2 touchdowns, and we end up losing the game. It's like, that was at home.
I don't want to remember that game. That was such a disappointment.
We had ACC officiating in that game too. I don't know if we get to bring our officiating or we have to use theirs. We'll see.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yep.
The next week, of course, we've got Cincinnati at us. They're coming to us.
Rivalry game. I mean, people don't call that.
I think we'll beat them. I don't think they've got anything this year.
Yeah, I don't think Cincinnati's. I think they can beat us. I think that
they
do have enough talent, but it's a new quarterback. It's sort of like us, but I'm not sure if this new quarterback has any kind of experience like ours does. But this is a town that gets up for Cincinnati when they show up, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and we would like to beat them any way we can. Badly, just barely anyway, we'll take it.
I agree. I like to beat them badly. And you got a few players that were on Cincinnati that with us now would probably like to beat them badly.
Right. Threats is one of them.
Yeah.
Who was that running back you were saying?
Miles Montgomery.
Montgomery, and then you've got that linebacker who was really good, who is now playing with us. And they say, these guys are elite players when they're kind of directed in the right direction. Let's hope.
Yeah.
I know they'll be tuned up for that game for sure.
Oh, without doubt.
So I guess we'll get to see what happens. But week after that, we're at Iowa State.
Iowa State had a winning streak last year.
At home?
No, at the end of the year, they kind of turned on. You know how like we did?
Yeah.
They did the same thing. They do have a returning quarterback. They have a returning receiver and running back.
Okay.
So they could be. And again, when we're going to Iowa State, Mark, it's October 19th. It could be cool. You never know.
Dude, they're ranked 24th in this Lindy's, what I got.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. Top 25.
They're a top 25 team.
Yeah. And before they play us, let's see who they got. They got Baylor, Houston, Arkansas State, Iowa, and North Dakota.
And when do they play Iowa?
Game. Second game of the season.
Okay, because that's a big game for them also. I'm shocked the Iowa.
I'm sorry. They're at West Virginia before the week for us too.
So that could be a tough one for them also.
Right. Yeah, because we play Cincinnati, they play at West Virginia, then we go to them.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So I want to say the last two games, or two of the last three, the Florida game and the Iowa State game, I've got two question marks. If I had to say with my gut says we're going to beat Iowa State but lose to Florida.
Okay.
That's what my gut tells me.
You think we'll beat Iowa State, lose to Florida, huh?
Yeah.
Well, as long as we win at least one of them, I'll be we can't
Yeah.
both.
No.
I think this year wins are going to come harder than last year.
No, I agree.
We're playing all four of the Pac-12 teams.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good conference before it broke up.
Yeah.
And
you remember we have a few of those games we're playing them out there.
Right.
Because you think about it, we've got to play. Was it Arizona at Arizona?
Yeah, we'll get to that. But after Iowa State, you're thinking there's a chance we can win that one.
I do.
Iowa State. Okay.
We have to play well, but I think we can beat. If we play well, we beat them.
Okay.
I think we beat BYU at home.
That's homecoming. The next week is BYU.
Yeah, I think we beat them.
I think we beat BYU this year.
Yeah, I don't think BYU has really.
I think it may be close. I think it'll be close. I think that's a good coach BYU has.
Yeah.
And we'll see. But I think BYU. I'm hoping for a win. I don't expect anything in this league. Anything
No.
can happen. And I'm not expecting any kind of win, but I'm just hoping for a win that we can play well enough to beat BYU on homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. After that, we got Arizona. That is the space game.
We win that one.
You think so? We'll beat Arizona at home for the
space game. We don't lose.
They got a new coach too. They got some of the players did not go with the new coach or their old coach that went to Washington. They all stayed, and so
that's interesting.
Yeah, the quarterback's still there. A lot of those guys that were really good, they did not go with the coach up to Washington.
But I'm saying until I'm proven wrong, we don't lose the space game.
Right. Well, that is space game this year is Arizona. So
yeah, we'll win the space game.
You're chalking that up as a win.
That's a W.
Next week, fly out to Arizona State. Yeah,
at Arizona State. I don't think we win that one.
They're ranked in Lindy's here. This is Lindy's. So it's nothing, but they're ranked, God, I want to say 77.
Oh, I guess, okay, is Arizona State because I know one of them was good, one of them was weak.
Arizona's good.
Oh, okay. Then let me switch that around.
You think we'll lose the space game the first time?
No, I don't. I still think we win the space game, but I still think then, yeah, we beat Arizona State even out of Arizona.
Okay, so you think we go out to Arizona? I mean, the
Yeah,
unfortunate thing. Oh, we get another week off. Looks like good. You
we have a
know,
week off after Arizona State before we pull into Morgantown,
Morgantown. Yeah, we play West
going
Virginia.
down Country Road.
Right, in West Virginia. I want to say they're ranked 30th in Lindy's.
Yeah, I didn't. I just don't think much of West Virginia's program. I didn't last year, but if you'd have told me they're going to beat
Can't
us by
have four
double digits,
turnovers.
if they're going to beat us by double digits in the bounce house, I was no way, and they did. So
Four turnovers. Remember? I mean,
yeah,
down
well,
14 points before we even knew it, and it was like,
we played awful. I remember that was the one I think didn't Baker kick a ball up again for an interception.
yeah, and yeah, what's his name had
JRP couldn't,
two fumbles and two interceptions.
yeah, couldn't, yeah,
To a,
couldn't get it together. It
right,
was a rough game.
two guys are gone that were a big part of that loss last year, and not that Javon is a big part of any loss, but he did give up a pretty bad interception by kicking it again. Like, remember after seeing it in Boise State, it's like that'll never happen again. And when it happened at West or against West Virginia, I'm like,
A couple weeks later, it happens. Yeah, against West.
like I don't.
Was what troubled me about that game is I think we were still in it before half. I
Right.
remember we mismanaged the clock so bad we didn't get any points out of that.
Yeah, that did happen. Yes.
And I was like,
Yes, that
wow,
did happen.
how do you have, you're down. It was something like I want to say 14-7 or 17-10. We
Right.
could have put it within four or possibly got, and it was mismanaged so bad we got nothing. And then they came out after the halftime and just took it from there.
Yeah. That was,
But like
they got the
hit us.
big back that they had. The guy who was like 230 at the end of the game, the 230-pound back, just we had nothing left. Couldn't stop him. And they
Is
just
he
ran the
still
ball.
there?
I think he is gone, but I'm not sure.
Because if he's still there, he could be a problem.
Right. Well, we got more beef in in the linebacker room, and and plus everybody on the offense or defensive line came back, right? With
Yeah.
the exception of Celiscar, which he wasn't happy with his playing time. It looked like he went out to Texas A&M.
Well, and again, that position you can really say is kind of an upgrade. No
Right.
offense, because it
Malcolm
wasn't
Lawrence,
so
yeah,
bad. I wish him the best, but really, he wasn't playing as well as who took the spot from him.
right.
So that's why
Malachi Lawrence,
Lawrence is probably the better of the two anyway. Which I never thought I'd say that about Josh Elliscar.
right?
But again, I wish him all the luck in Texas. Texas A&M.
Yeah, but we lost that number 3 dollar drop. He's gone, but that's about the only guy we lost beside him and Celiscar. And Celiscar transferred out.
Yeah, and again, our D line again. It comes back down to our linebacker play. I think. But I even think, well, even though we did lose, arguably probably our best defensive back to Louisville.
Okay, yeah, because Lee Hunter, Ricky Barber, nose
Yeah.
tackle, defensive tackle. And then you got Malachi Lawrence and then Xavier Carter. Like, okay. But I guess we'll find out. I mean, Brandon Adams still on the team.
Yeah.
Tamari Rich, Henderson. That kid
Mhm.
ain't no player. I think his brother's finally healthy. We'll see, right?
Well, healthy and contributing are two things. Then this now leads us to the Utah Utes, UCF.
Friday, yeah, Black Friday
Good
game
Black
against
Friday
Utah
game,
this
yeah.
year. And
Yeah, Black Friday.
I know Utah's going to be playing for a spot in the Big 12 championships. What they're saying.
Yeah, which
Will
they
we be able
on paper
to either?
they've got a lot of talent. They've got a quarterback with a lot of experience.
Yeah, no, they do. You're right, but so do we. Our quarterback has a lot of experience. I mean, that's one thing you say about him. Think about JRP is he had really very little experience when he got here.
Yeah, he was very untested. And really, that first year, he was just kind of learning the spot.
Right. And then, was he here 3 years or just 2?
2.
Really? Okay. So we went to the AAC championship with JRP his first year.
Yeah.
So Mikey was here, I guess, at the time.
Mikey was here too, but Mikey expended all of his
Right.
eligibility.
We'd have
under
played
the
that
fourth.
that Navy game better. He probably could have played the championship game.
Yeah,
Right. And we should have been able to beat Navy just by lining up against them. But
should have. Yeah.
Shipmen are, they're a disciplined team. So we lost. Nonetheless. Okay, so Utah, you thinking
We don't win Utah.
we're gonna lose?
Yeah.
Because we won't
No, I
even
don't
have the mugginess like Florida a couple years ago when Utah showed up there. You saw that the weather started to get on to them. That they wore out. By fourth
But
quarter, they couldn't stop anything.
I've been out in that region of the country here in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it is much, much different. Their heat is different. Their cool is different. You remember when we're playing them at the end of November. It's
Right.
not that hot.
No.
It's
You're
really not that muggy either. When
Right.
Florida got them, they got them like in August,
right. And
right there in the heat
got the-
of the sauna, so to speak.
Yeah, they got the it was you could see them wilt their
Yeah.
second half. They started wilting, and that's why they lost the game to Florida. But we won't get that advantage this year.
We won't have that luxury.
Okay, so how many games we talking? We got 2 wins with Sam Houston, New Hampshire. You think
Yeah.
TCU is a win?
I do.
I
That's
say-
3.
Okay. So that's 3-0. Colorado, that's a win, you said?
Yep, that's 4-0.
That's 4. Okay. Florida,
Loss.
4-1. Okay. And then Cincinnati, 5-1.
7-1.
6-1 with Iowa State.
Yes.
Wow.
7-1.
BYU,
with BYU.
Arizona, 8-1.
8-1. 9-1.
Arizona State, 9-1, and then West Virginia.
9-2.
Okay.
And then
So we're going
Utah.
against Utah, and there's a chance we could be playing for the championship game against
If
Utah.
we're 9-3, we're also possibly going to a New Year's Day Bowl.
No, but 9-2, Matt. There's a chance we could be going against Utah. Thing, who wins is going to the championship game against somebody
Yeah.
else because
Yeah.
they could be 9-2 as well. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that'll be an interesting and exciting season if that comes to fruition. But I'm again thinking 6-6 at best at that point. Hopefully, we'll be 6-5 by the time we play Utah, to where we'll be assured to a
Yeah.
But yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
thinking TCU
I wish-
lost, Colorado, I'll take the win. Okay, Florida loss, Cincinnati win, Iowa State loss, BYU win, Arizona loss, Arizona State win, West Virginia loss, Utah loss. So it's about 6-6 is what I gotta say.
7-5, yeah.
7-5, okay, and
Yeah.
I'll take that every day. And
I'd be happy with 7-5. If we could actually go 7-5 this year, I'd be okay with that.
well, you
You
predicted.
know, I mean,
9-3, 10-2.
9-3 is
That's pretty good
what I'm
schedule.
more thinking. Yeah. But hey, I'm an optimist. I like to
I like
think.
I like the optimism. I
Yeah.
like to be surprised. I'll say that, but
Well, no offense, Mark, we didn't have a true quarterback the last 2 years.
no,
I'm not going to knock the kid. I'm not knocking JRP.
no,
but
he
he
was an athlete playing quarterback. We
There
always,
now is a kid who's a true quarterback.
yeah, he was an
He's
athlete
played
playing
some of the biggest football in the country as a quarterback, and
Right.
and his team wasn't very good, but he did okay.
Okay,
Again, and we're not playing Alabama in Alabama.
right.
No,
I got you.
we're not playing Florida at Florida.
Yeah, we are.
We've never done that and won that.
Right, but we are playing Florida this
Yeah,
year.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, but you know what I mean. I should say we're not playing Auburn. We're not playing LSU at LSU.
Right. But yeah, we are going to be playing Florida. I have a feeling it's going to be a packed house at 92 at least.
Oh, I think so too.
Remember, Gator don't buy, UCF will buy.
Well, UCF, Florida wants to beat us
Right.
because you were at that Florida UCF bowl game, right?
Yeah, packed house that night.
Weren't the Florida fans kind of upset?
They were.
You got to remember, Mark, we beat them by double digits.
They were angry. Yeah.
And I don't know if they were more angered at the score, if they were angered at virtually we had just beat the will out of them. Because you remember, pretty much the last 5-6 minutes of the game, we were just running Bowser and they couldn't stop him.
Right. Yeah. I want to say that they would think that that was their worst time. And, you know, we had a tough year that year ourselves. We had a true
Yeah,
freshman quarterback, if you remember, and Bowser was out quite a bit of the year. It was lucky for us that we got him back there at the end,
yeah.
but Johnny even had a good game.
He was a big part of the game. But you also remember too, Mark. Was it Ryan? Who had the big game? Who was the MVP of that game?
Oh, I know you're talking about uh
He transferred to
yeah,
Boston College.
wide receiver. Yeah. Ryan, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's late.
My memory shot, I can't remember.
I have my notes in front of me. But again, he was really the difference of the game. Also,
He was a big difference. And you know, I guess we'll see what happens with the Gators this year. I guess you want to move over to Big 12 expansion
yeah,
possibilities. We talked
yeah,
about, which I was thinking, of course, we're not in any of these expansion talks, but you do have Florida State and Clemson. It appears they're trying to get out. And
hmm
sooner rather than later, which I thought a lot of people's like, oh, it's not happening. And I think ESPN's even come out with the notion of they're not getting out. They got to pay us. If they, or the ACC actually said that last week during their like they're not leaving without paying.
and
So
then I get because I know Florida State doesn't have that kind of money. I'm not sure about Clemson, even though they're a small private school. Or
well,
I'm
we were
sorry,
talking
they're
money a little bit earlier before we got on.
yeah,
And I just hit a snafu and like I think if you had ESPN, let's in a perfect world where ESPN goes, okay, we'll play along. Because
yeah,
you know they're going to put their foot down saying we already have their rights. For this to happen, they're only playing on ESPN, ABC channels. That's it.
yeah.
So you got to take Fox out of that equation. Fox is not going to pay for something they don't get to, you know.
No, very true.
So, but instead of basically saying what I could say if you're your mark, you say to the ESPN, then instead of the 22 million you're guaranteed that you have to pay, you got to pay 35, 40, you know,
Yeah,
something more to where then in that case is like you're getting these two teams exclusively from our conference on your for the next 5 years or whatever, like kind of like what you saw with Maryland, I think when they left the ACC and joined the Big Ten,
yeah,
they were only on ESPN channels for the following years because ESPN had them locked up.
yeah,
I can see ESPN pulling that card this time, going, we're not going to let it happen unless
yeah.
they talk about you know equity fund money and stuff like that, and whatever that stuff is. I don't know enough about it really to sit there and comment on it. But that to me always seems like that's a bad idea when these guys want to sit there, when they want to pour money into a business, your conference, whatever. That these guys are raiders usually, and
Yeah,
to me, it's like there's going to be a lot of stipulations where I'd be like, no, we're not doing this, But I think if you do get Florida State and Clemson to say join the Big 12,
yeah,
I think at that point you're going to have obviously. I know they're not joining the SEC because the SEC pretty much. I don't think they want 16 teams. I think they want 12. And if they
yeah,
get rid of 4 of their teams now, they would if they can figure out how to. You know,
yeah.
like unfortunately, I bet you if they could get rid of Arkansas, they would. You know,
But I
Vanderbilt's
think
another one.
teams that would be on the cut would be Arkansas, Missouri.
Vanderbilt and Missouri's a good team this year.
Yeah, Arkansas. I would say Arkansas, Vanderbilt, and then probably Mississippi and Mississippi State.
Okay, and Missouri. So that's your 4 teams.
Yeah.
They fit, so I don't see them moving, but I could see them, looking at
Well, you
something.
can't get rid of the Egg Bowl because then for you lose the state of Mississippi.
Right. And like I said, they fit. So I don't, but like Vanderbilt has never fit. They've never
No,
competed for anything in the SEC.
I agree.
And so and nobody cares about the academics part about it anymore. We're not doing that facade. It's like just get rid of them.
Well, the thing is, everybody has good academics. Florida has academics everybody as good as.
Right. But I think that's what they used to say about Vanderbilt. Like, well, they got really good I was like, okay, we're going to play
Yeah,
that game. We'll play that game. But now nobody cares about the academics. Missouri just doesn't fit. They're a good team.
Missouri fits better with us.
Right. And then Arkansas would fit better with us as well, to be honest. And I'm sure if I really scoured through the SEC, I could find one more team to drop that wouldn't really kind of, like even Texas A&M, you know? I think.
Well, Texas being there, that's a huge rivalry that they want to come back.
Right.
You know, yeah, because then now Texas can say we have the Red River rivalry and also the Texas A&M game. You know,
Right, back at the SEC.
Yeah,
You're allowed to do the horns down against them, and you're also Texas cannot be called UT. They're called Tex.
yeah,
Yeah, that UT is still Tennessee, and Tennessee is an older college than Texas. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
They're older.
They're older. Yeah, that's the reason why
I can see that.
they get to be UT because they're older than Texas.
Yeah, I can see that.
But back to the Big 12, I don't think that this Florida State Clemson thing is going to happen anytime soon. I said you got to
No.
get at least 3, maybe 4 years. And then at that point, I think Florida State could pay to get out, just like Clemson could. And they probably will. And then we'll see if they still want to be in the Big 12 or not.
So you're going to say you think the ACC stays intact for the next 5 years?
I think they stay intact for the next 3 or 4 years, yeah.
Okay, before people start buying their way out.
Right.
And I think when they do buy their way out, then it's going to be a fire sale.
Right. Well, everybody's getting out. Anybody who's work, I still think the ACC will probably live on. I just don't think it'll be a power conference.
Yeah.
You still have the Boston College has got nowhere to go. Syracuse has nowhere to go. Georgia Tech has nowhere to go. You know, NC State has nowhere to go. Virginia Tech has nowhere to go. And I'm sorry, they don't. Pitt may.
I talked to you about this last week about Pitt and West Virginia is a natural rivalry.
Right.
Backyard brawl.
Yeah, I can see us taking Pitt, you know, just because they're, and I can see us taking, you know, if we do get Florida State and Clemson, you're going to want some more East Coast teams, but you're not going to want to sit there and just fill it up with a bunch of garbage either. So like, I'm not calling these guys garbage, but you're not taking Georgia Tech, you're not taking Syracuse or Boston College, and you're not taking, you know, Virginia Tech. You just
Georgia Tech is a rival with Georgia.
Well, they can still be they're just not going to be in our conference. They're going to have to stay in the ACC.
I still think that the SEC still hasn't made their mind up. They still may take Florida State and Clemson.
I don't think they do, but they might. You never know. I think they take, well, North Carolina, if they're available, they're taking them.
Yeah.
And I think if Virginia's available, they'll take them. And there were those who were saying, no, it's going to be a package deal. If you want North Carolina, you got to take North Carolina State. If you want Virginia, you have to take Virginia Tech. And you know, both the Big 10, the SEC will say, well, I guess we don't want you. Good luck, guys.
And that's why Clemson's easier, because Clemson is a natural rival with South Carolina.
Right. But
Georgia. Clemson also hated rival with Georgia.
People who do not want Florida State. Florida being one of them. I don't think they want Florida State in their conference.
I know. But
it's not like they're going to play them anyway. But why give them all the money that they need?
I agree with you.
So I think Florida's going to hold out and say, no, it's not about we ain't afraid of these guys. We just don't want to give them an opportunity that we have.
Why should we give them what we have?
Yeah, we owe them nothing. That's why I think Florida State's finally figuring that out, that we're not getting into the SEC.
Yeah, even if we don't get Florida State and Clemson, there's still value in that conference that could help us. I know you don't like it, but I think Miami would help us.
Oh, I'll take Miami. You know, there's a couple teams in the ACC I would definitely take.
That would open up for South Florida.
I'd take Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
you know, because it's a close game for us.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of games in this conference now, we really can't go to.
No, because it's a couple time zones.
It's, you know, it's a small town, so it's you either got to drive to it after you get to a big, you know, the Texas Tech teams are probably easier, but you know how it is. It's like,
well, Oklahoma State,
just drive up to Georgia, or drive down to Miami, and you know, watch us play them.
Yeah, Oklahoma State's not an easy game.
No, not easy at all to get to. You know, a lot easier for them to leave there to come here. You know,
yeah,
damn near impossible for us to get as a fan from here to there.
West Virginia's not easy because you got to fly to Pittsburgh and then drive down the country road to get to Morgantown.
Right.
So
It'll be interesting. I guess let's
very.
finish it off with the trivia we were talking about earlier.
What was that? Remind me what that trivia was.
It was the players were asked if you were not playing for the team you were playing for
Oh
now,
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
coach would you like to work for or play for? The resounding winner was Gus Malzahn.
Ted Lasso.
Yes, and we were calling him the Ted Lasso of college football. That
Yeah,
he's very likable. The guy does great on recruiting.
yeah,
It's just he never wins. Like Ted Lasso.
yeah.
Gus he'll win. He'll go, on a good season, he'll be 8-4, 7-5. And that's as good
Mm-hmm. That's
and
as good as yeah,
as bad as it gets, he'll be 6-7,
yeah.
and he's just that kind of some people are fine with that. I think
So you don't think he has another national championship run in him ever?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just
He
saying
got
what he has been, Matt.
yeah.
And
He got a lot of luck.
we've had no luck in the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
if he gets if some of these guys can play like they've been playing with each other for a few years, we'll see. But until
We
then,
had luck with 17 and 18. We had a lot of luck those years.
right.
A lot of things turn out our way.
Gotcha.
But we also had a team with a lot of poise that if they got down 7-10 points, it didn't bother them.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, those are good teams. Those are disciplined teams,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that Gus can't make a disciplined team. It's just we're gonna need to see him do that first.
No, I agree.
Until that happens, he's Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
He's a very likable coach. He's just not gonna win the championship.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Well,
agree.
what do you say?
I
We
have no to say.
want to wrap this one up?
Let's wrap her up.
Okay. I guess we're gonna try to work on getting our theme song back somehow. Maybe I can
Yeah.
even work on that a little bit towards a little bit more, a little bit better pre-pro. So when it starts playing, we'll
Yeah.
get some drums in there and throw a bass on it. Bass line with it. And
That would be nice.
sound a little better. But until you're going to be out of town next weekend, so
I go on a cruise.
we will pick up from there after the following weekend. I guess you're back in
Yeah.
school that weekend then,
Yeah. But
Well,
that's second. Yeah.
and we'll pick it up from there.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. This is Mark Johnson,
This is Matt Johnson.
and this is Knightspeed Season 3.
Knightspeed Season 3, Episode 1. And like I said, see y'all later, everybody.
Take care.